In the modern era of cloud-native development, we have transitioned from monolithic giants to a sprawling landscape of microservices. While this shift offers incredible scalability and agility, it introduces a significant challenge. How do hundreds or even thousands of independent services communicate reliably? This is where the service mesh comes into play. It acts as a dedicated infrastructure layer that handles service-to-service communication. Think of it as the postal system for your microservices, ensuring every message reaches its destination securely and efficiently. Today, we're diving deep into the architecture that powers resilient distributed systems, moving beyond basic networking into the sophisticated world of the service mesh.
To understand why we need a service mesh, we must look at where we started. In a monolith, communication happens through simple function calls within the same process. However, as we broke these monoliths into microservices, those function calls became network calls. Suddenly, developers were forced to write complex code to handle network retries, timeouts, and load balancing within every single service. This fat client approach became unmanageable. The service mesh solves this by offloading these networking responsibilities into a separate layer, allowing developers to focus solely on business logic rather than the plumbing of the network. It's the logical evolution of distributed systems architecture.
So, what exactly is a service mesh? At its core, it is a transparent infrastructure layer built into an application. It is typically composed of two primary components, the data plane and the control plane. The data plane consists of lightweight network proxies deployed alongside each service, while the control plane manages and configures these proxies. Unlike an API gateway, which manages north-south traffic from the outside world into your cluster, the service mesh focuses on east-west traffic, the communication happening internally between your services. It provides a consistent way to observe, secure, and control this traffic without modifying the application code itself.
The data plane is where the heavy lifting happens. In a service mesh, we use the sidecar pattern. This means every instance of your service has a companion proxy, like Envoy, running in the same container or pod. All incoming and outgoing traffic for the service is intercepted by the sidecar proxy. Because the proxy is local, latency is minimal. These proxies are responsible for low-level tasks, such as service discovery, health checking, and request routing. By using sidecars, we ensure that the application remains completely unaware of the networking logic, effectively decoupling the network concerns from the application's runtime environment.
If the data plane is the muscle, the control plane is the brain. It doesn't touch individual packets or requests directly. Instead, it provides the management interface and APIs used to define how the data plane should behave. The control plane is responsible for converting high-level configuration, like only allow service A to talk to service B, into specific rules that the sidecar proxies can understand. It also manages service discovery, certificate issuance for security, and the collection of telemetry data. Without the control plane, managing hundreds of individual sidecars would be impossible. It provides the centralized single pane of glass for the entire mesh.
One of the most powerful features of a service mesh is fine-grained traffic management. Gone are the days of simple round-robin load balancing. With a mesh, you can implement sophisticated routing strategies, like canary deployments, where you send only 5% of traffic to a new version of a service. You can also implement resilience patterns like circuit breaking. If a service starts failing, the mesh can automatically trip a circuit to prevent a cascading failure across the system. It also handles retries and timeouts automatically, ensuring that transient network glitches don't bring down your entire application. This level of control is achieved entirely through configuration, requiring zero code changes. In a distributed system, the traditional castle and moat security model is no longer sufficient. We must assume the network is untrusted. A service mesh provides a zero-trust environment by implementing mutual TLS, MTLS, by default. The control plane manages the issuance and rotation of certificates for every service. When service A talks to service B, the sidecar proxies handle the handshake, ensuring that both services are authenticated and that the data in transit is encrypted. Furthermore, the mesh allows you to define granular authorization policies, specifying exactly which services are allowed to talk to one another, significantly reducing the blast radius of a potential security breach. Observability is a massive challenge in microservices. When a request fails, where did it go wrong? A service mesh provides out-of-the-box observability by collecting telemetry data from the data plane. It generates detailed metrics like request volume, error rates, and latency, the golden signals. Perhaps most importantly, it enables distributed tracing. Because every proxy intercepts every request, they can automatically inject and propagate tracing headers. This allows you to visualize the entire path of a request as it hops across dozens of services. This deep level of insight is crucial for debugging performance bottlenecks and understanding the complex dependencies within your architecture.
The service mesh landscape has matured significantly. Istio is perhaps the most well-known, offering a massive feature set, but often criticized for its complexity. It's built on the Envoy proxy and is heavily used in large enterprise environments. Linkerd, on the other hand, prides itself on simplicity and performance, utilizing a custom-built proxy written in Rust to minimize resource overhead. Then we have HashiCorp Console, which evolved from a service discovery tool into a full-featured service mesh, making it a great choice for hybrid environments that mix Kubernetes with legacy virtual machines. Choosing the right mesh depends on your scale, your team's expertise, and your specific technical requirements.
While a service mesh provides incredible benefits, it is not a silver bullet. It adds operational complexity and resource overhead. Before adopting a mesh, ensure your system scale truly justifies it. Start small, perhaps by implementing observability first before moving to MTLS or advanced traffic routing. Remember that the goal is to make the network transparent, not to create a new layer of manual management. As you build and scale your distributed systems, the service mesh stands as a powerful tool in your architectural arsenal, ensuring your microservices can communicate reliably, securely, and with full visibility. Thank you for joining this deep dive into service mesh architecture.